All right, so we're ready. Are you ready? You good?
Yeah, I'm ready. I'm
good?
so ready.
Hi, everybody. Welcome back to Hearing Things with Julie and Brad. If you tuned in last week, thank you for coming back this week. We were a little heavy last week. But Julie, as she is wont to do, is going to lighten things up with a little bit of craziness.
All right. I have to make a confession that is 32 years in the making now, and a public apology, and you're just going to have to wait and hear what that is because I got to give you a little background first. So, well, the topic I'm going to cover today ties back to the Americans with Disabilities Act, and we're going to do an episode on that which provides more background about the ADA. But by way of background, before I launch into my epic tale today, the Americans with Disabilities Act was signed into law in July of 1990. This is important because my story takes place in the spring of 1993. So 3 years in to the American Disabilities Act already being enforced and signed into law. It's the world's first comprehensive civil rights law for disabilities, and it prohibits discrimination on the basis of disability. And it ensures reasonable accommodation in public buildings. This is important to the story. Things such as ramps, elevators, accessible transportation, telecommunication accommodations, safety features like flashing fire alarms. Gee, where could we be going next? Okay, so...
Put a pin in that.
All right, here's the deal. As you probably know by now, I went to Boston College, class of 1996.
You did?
I did. Super proud Eagle. It's my thing. I'm very proud to be a BC Eagle for many, many reasons. And I have tons of special friends and people that have just influenced my life, educators. Father Monin was the president at the time. He's since passed away. He's the single biggest influence on my education and who I am as a woman and as a teacher. And it's such a special place. But of course, I have many stories, but this is one that I don't think I've ever really told publicly. So, spring of 1993 is the spring of my freshman year. Now, the ADA has been in place for 3 years now. Housing options are coming up for sophomores, and we're coming up on the housing lottery. And new buildings have been built to house the majority of the sophomore class. Now, the new construction, I find out, did not include flashing fire alarms. I find this out. And I also recognize that, okay, the older buildings also were not modified to have flashing fire alarms either. So wherever I'm going to end up living sophomore year, I need an accommodation in place. Freshman year, I didn't have an accommodation. The accommodation that was given to me was that my dorm room was across the hall from the hall director. So in case of an emergency, the hall director would come and get me. Not to be deterred, I decide I'm going to take on BC housing by myself, sophomore in college. So I make an appointment with the head of housing. I'm not going to waste time on any lower things. I go right to the top.
No peons for Julie.
Right to the top. And I said, listen, you've got to put some fire alarms in that are flashing for the hard of hearing. I was told that wasn't possible. I was also told it was an unreasonable request. Well, that didn't sit lightly with me now, did it? No. I left. I got a copy of the ADA. I made another appointment with the head of housing at BC. Marched back into his office with the paper in hand.
Did you hit him with it?
Pointed it out. Had a whole thing prepared. I mean, talk about nerve.
Well.
Okay, 1993, I was 19. I mean, just sheer nerve on my part of like, no. Actually, I wasn't 19 yet, because it was the spring, so I was 18 years old.
She couldn't even drink yet, people. Well, legally.
I was ready. So I argue my point. Fire alarms are installed.
Nice.
Great. Terrific. All the sophomore year buildings, flashing fire alarms in every room in the hallways. Awesome. We move into the dorms. First week or two, somebody pulls fire alarm.
Of course.
There are now strobe lights going off in every room, every suite, every hallway, with a very high-pitched screeching noise accompanying it. For like 10 seconds, I'm like, go me. Like Norma Ray moment, right? Like, here we go. I made this happen. This is awesome. The problem was the fire department didn't know how to shut them off. So these things went on and on and on for hours.
Oh my God.
I need to make the sincerest apology to members of the class of 1996 that lived in what we knew as New Dorm A And new dorm B. It's my fault. I caused this.
You didn't know enough to it at the time?
I don't know if anybody else knew besides my friends and my roommates. I'm just telling all of you right now, that was me. I'm sorry. It's been 32 years coming for this apology. Meet me at the new dining hall, which now is 32 years old also. The buildings now all have names. None of us know what they are. There's still new dorm A, new dorm B, new dining hall. I will take all of you up for French fries at the new dorm B, at the new dining hall on Lower Campus. I owe you all. All however many thousand of you that live in those dorms.
It's a lot of French fries.
Here's the best part. My best friend's kids are sophomores and juniors at BC now. They live in old New Dorm A. The first week of school, the fire alarms went off. And they informed me that the fire alarms still have the strobe effect.
Yeah.
And they still scream.
Yeah.
But I think they figured out how to turn them off.
Yeah.
So I laughed my head off. And I call her my niece, my best friend's daughter. She goes, yep, thought of you. I'm like, yeah, when those went off, we thought of you. Here's a bonus. Here's a happy ending, though. Okay. It's kind of a cool thing. After I took on the housing department, the school formed a committee formed for students with physical disabilities, where they invited us each time they were going to do construction or renovation to review the plans to make sure they were ADA compliant.
Wow.
So I'm pretty proud of that. That's a pretty big accomplishment on my part.
For sure. That's great.
So, but the rest of it, sorry, guys. Sorry for all those nights of studying or being hungover or interrupted things. My legacy lives on in New Dorm A and New Dorm B, but I apologize profusely with Class of 96 for that one until they could figure out how to shut those things off. It was literally hours.
Was it really?
Oh my God. It was so bad. And there was one room in our suite that was like a storage closet that didn't have one of those things in it.
Yeah.
So you could hide in there. But you could still hear it. It was so bad. I'm so sorry, everybody.
What time was it? Was it like midnight or something?
Anytime. Who would pull the fire alarm? I'm not going to pull it at 2 in the afternoon. You know what I mean? You'd like
well,
pull
maybe
the thing at 1, 2 in the morning, whatever. So sorry. I love you all. I owe you fries at the new dining hall.
See, you were a teacher even then. You were teaching the firemen how to turn off the alarms.
It was so bad. I remember the first time it happened, I was outside. I was like, oh my God, I did this. But my legacy lives on.
I mean, it's a hilarious story, but it's also a great point. It's like, where's the gap there? Whose responsibility was it to educate the firemen? I mean, so like the installation is one part, but like, do you know, like at the library, anytime we get a new piece of hardware, we get training on it and know how to use it. And so that's where the ADA kind of falls down a little bit, because it's called the toothless law for many things. It worked in your case, which was great, but this was also how many years ago?
And it was also right after the implementation of the ADA.
So they had the momentum.
They had momentum, but why was it on me, 18 years old, with nerves of steel, to tell the housing director, buddy, no, you don't have a choice here.
Yeah.
This is a reasonable accommodation that you need to figure out.
And now they all do. Like the fire alarms in the library, they all flash.
Now it's defaulted to flashing.
Right? So you're just ahead of the curve. Always.
I was an influencer before.
You were an influencer.
That's my story. Yeah. That was a good one.
Thank you for sharing.
Yes.
Hopefully this was entertaining.
Oh my God. Right. Only me.
Did you want to go go for your book first?
I do.
What do you got?
Sesame Street.
Oh, nice.
Sesame Street Unpaved. I have been a lover of the Muppets and Sesame Street for my whole life, and this book is so great. It's a big anthology, basically, of all of the music from Sesame Street and all of the characters and like their backstories. It has their birthdays in there. I mean, the famous one of Grover's the waiter. There's a fly in my soup.
Fly in my soup.
It's awesome, and it's just such a fun book. I hope it's still in publication. I'm not sure, but if you get your hands on it, and if
Disney owns it, right? Disney owns the Muppets, so I'm sure they've re-released it. Anything they can make money off of.
But it's so good.
That's awesome.
It's got scripts. It has the sheet music. It's awesome.
Does it have? So I remember seeing something originally. Oscar was orange.
He was.
Is there a picture of that?
Probably. I'll look.
Because it's. I remember seeing like, what? He's orange? What's going on there? So
yeah, he was orange in the beginning.
It's funny how they
kind of evolved and it's just so fun. It must be
awesome.
Here somewhere. I can't put my hand on it right now, but Jim Henson had such an influence on me,
great.
like creatively and just everything. When he passed away, I was so sad.
Yeah.
He was just an incredible visionary, and I was so happy to have been alive at the time that he was working and benefited so much from his creativity. But yeah, it's just so fun. It's got scripts. It's such a fun book, and it's a light book.
Yeah, that's good.
As a fun topic for something different, considering that I just
laid on everyone.
Drop this deathbed confession. What do you got? Oh, nice.
Yes.
Look at this.
I have.
There we go.
Or my story. And so I'm going to go out on a limb and say something very controversial. I think Bobby Orr was the greatest hockey player to ever live. Yeah, Gretzky has all the records, but did Gretzky play defense?
You make a good point.
Yeah. So anyway, that's Orr's story, and I always hate nowadays when they dump the puck in. Right? They dump the puck in and chase it, and Bobby Orr backs me up. He's like, I don't understand why these people just dump the puck in. Just skate the puck in, and that's when I realized, it's easy for Bobby Orr to say.
Right, exactly.
So yeah, Orr, my story, his autobiography, it's fantastic. He does get into the Eagleson thing where he could have been a Bruin for life instead of those weird pictures in a Blackhawks uniform. But yeah, so it's fantastic. If you're a Bruins fan, even if you're a hockey fan, I think that it's a great book to read. But yeah, so
that's a fun one. We had some fun choices today.
Yeah,
fun episode, fun choices,
lighten things up every now and then.
So yeah.
So
all right,
that's it for us.
BC class of '96. You want those French fries?
Comment below.
Comment. I'll meet you before the first home game. Food's on me, guys. Sorry about that.
All right, everybody. See you next week.
Take care. Bye.